Hi guys, how you doing? So today we're going to take a look at the PG258Q. This is a 240Hz 1080p panel from Asus. I've owned it for about 3 weeks and unfortunately it's no longer with us. No, nothing like that. I actually sold it a few days ago, but before I sold it I was able to do some footage and that's going to be the basis of today's video. So what we're going to look at the actual aesthetics, so the actual look of the monitor, and it is mint, to be honest. We're going to set it up, we're going to look at the movement, and also we're going to use it in a bit of gaming. So without further ado, let's roll that intro. Guys, so when you're choosing a monitor, what's the first thing you think of? Is it resolution? Is it refresh rate? Is it whether it's got G-Sync? Well, for me, it's about the refresh rate. Now, I've had 60Hz panels, 4K, and it's just no fun. I play FPS shooters, so for me, the most important thing to do is get a high refresh rate monitor. Next, it's resolution. Now, this is 1080p. I've had 1440p, I've had 4K. And I love 1080p because it's so easy to run. You don't need a massive amount of hardware. You can have like a 970 from about 5-6 years ago now, and you can have a really good experience. So yeah, 1080p is great. 1440p is pretty good, and 4K is amazing. But as you step up the resolution, the hardware to run it, yeah, it becomes quite difficult, quite challenging. So yeah, 1080p is fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I really like this monitor. So the next thing I look for is whether it has FreeSync or G-Sync. I've had high refresh rate monitors that don't have either, and it's not a fantastic experience, even at a high refresh rate. So definitely having one is better than not. FreeSync, obviously, there's different adaptations of that. It's not a great experience, and also FreeSync on G-Sync, does it really work? It's very hit and miss. So when you've got a dedicated G-Sync monitor like this one, it's just peace of mind. That's what you're buying. You're buying into peace of mind. You've got your NVIDIA graphics cards. I hope you have. And yeah, so it's really nice. So yeah, that's definitely my next consideration. Response time is something that is important. Whether it's 1 millisecond, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm happy. Anything over 5, and I'm a bit, yeah, it's not fantastic. But this one's got 1 millisecond, so that kind of is a big tick in the box, and that's greater grey as well. So last, and by no means least, is the actual panel technology. Now, there's obviously IPS, there's VA, and there's TN in this case. TN is really nice. The colours are, yeah, they're not great. And if you're a professional person who needs kind of a colour accurate monitor, you're not looking at TN. You're kind of, yeah, you're going to be using an IPS or maybe even a VA. But for gaming and just general kind of everyday use, TN is lovely. You also don't have the issues that you get with IPS, with the backlight bleed. I've had some monitors and they're awful. I'm going to show some pictures later on of the backlight bleed, as it were, on this, and it's really, really good. So you don't need to worry about that. And I've also had a VA panel that had like low light flicker, and yeah, it's not great. So I actually do prefer TN. IPS is nice, but you pay a little bit more. But I game mostly. I do obviously video editing and that, but it doesn't need to be color accurate. So yeah, so it's absolutely fine. So if we now look at the aesthetics of the monitor, it's a real shame that it's kind of against the wall. It's such a nice design at the back. Yeah, it is plasticky, and there are better options out there in terms of looks, but I really do like the look of it. It's really nice. At the front of it, it does have a slightly thicker bezel than you'd like. If you went for an Acer, then you might get the kind of like probably a 2mm bezel. But yeah, for this, and just normal Asus monitors, is absolutely fine, and I actually quite like it. If it was like a couple of inches thick, then yeah, that's something else. But yeah, it's really nice. The stand looks lovely, and yeah, I think it's just lovely. It's just great. I can't kind of like praise it enough, really. So if you look underneath, you'll see that there's the DisplayPort, HDMI, there's the 2 USB 3.0 ports, there's the pass-through cable, there's a headphone socket, and also the power. Now, this monitor comes without speakers. It's not a deal breaker for me at all. I use separates, and I think most kind of internal speakers are a bit poor. It's a nice to have. For instance, if the kids are like playing on the computer and you don't want to turn on the speakers, if they've got your big ones, then it's a nice little kind of touch. The thing I did actually find, that it kept on defaulting to the monitor to in the volume settings. That was a bit of a pain, so I was having to change that. I didn't kind of look into it in too great a detail as to kind of to stop that from happening, but if you have that issue, then you might have to kind of have a little fiddle. But yeah, it's just a real side note, really. So now we're going to actually look at the monitor and kind of how we can adjust it. Up, down, left, right, tilt. It's more than enough, to be honest. Absolutely fine. When you kind of you turn it to the left and to the right, it's the whole post that turns. Yeah, absolutely no complaints. It actually does go a little bit further back than I'm actually showing in the image. It's only because the wall got in the way, to be honest. But otherwise, yeah, really good. I don't show it, but it does rotate apparently. I was trying to do it one way, it didn't work, but it goes the other way. I don't use it in portrait. It's always a landscape 16:9, and that's the way I have it. But yeah, absolutely fine there. So if we return to the rear of the monitor, you'll see there's a joystick and there's 4 buttons, and this controls the on-screen display, and I've kind of got a little bit of video of me kind of going through it. Now, it's really good, it's really simple to use, there's not a problem. We're going to look at the different presets of the monitor, and obviously you choose one which best suits your preference. I think I like the sRGB, that's probably my kind of go-to, but sometimes in different situations one looks better over the other. Just depends on what you're doing, really. There's something called light in motion, and that option basically turns on a light which shines through a lens underneath the monitor and then displays it on your desk. I haven't got the lens, it just didn't come with it because I got it second hand, but yeah, so it kind of adds a nice little effect. I'll try and show a couple of images on the screen as to kind of what it's supposed to look like, and then you can judge for yourself whether it's something which you're interested in or not. But yeah, I just turned it off because just a red light on the desk just didn't really appeal. So yeah, that's about it really. So with TN panels, they obviously don't have as good a colour and viewing angles as IPS. But with this one, I didn't find it to be a problem. I've got a couple of shots which I'm showing you from angles. They're not kind of at the most extreme angles or anything like that. But yeah, it's fine. You know, the colours are not great in the first instance, but you're not buying a TN gaming monitor to have colour accuracy, as I've already kind of spoken about earlier on. So yeah, it's absolutely fine. You're going to be looking at it straight on in most cases. You're not going to have like a room of people looking at it. So absolutely fine from that point of view. So don't be too concerned that it's going to be an issue, because it kind of isn't. So now we're going to look at a bit of gaming, playing my usual Battlefield 1. It was really weird because I was trying to point it at the camera and try and control it from the side. I'm doing an okay job. But yeah, what you're seeing on screen is recorded at 4K 25 FPS, so it doesn't look fantastic. But trust me, it looks amazing. It's so smooth. I mean, obviously, if you've got the GPU, I've got the 3070, absolutely fine. You're going to be hitting the mid to late hundreds. Really, really, really nice. Also, I've got some footage of a YouTube video of mine, just showing you really what it looks like. Colours are, you know, they're okay, and it works. It does exactly what it's supposed to. It shows an image, and I think it's fine. If you're really kind of snobby about, you know, everything, then you're going to go for a 4K IPS. But yeah, for this, it's a joy to use, and that's really kind of like how I like to like end the video. Really, my experience of using it is more than what the spec sheet says. You know, so with anything that you buy, you want peace of mind. So it has 1080p. It's fairly easy to run. It has high refresh rate. So if you get like a 3080 or a 3090, you can like potentially max out that monitor. So you can have like a low-end graphics card and a high-end graphics card using the same monitor, and you're not going to have any issues. The G-Sync is nice. I've had FreeSync and trying to use it on G-Sync and vice versa, and it's a pain. So having genuine G-Sync is a huge plus. As with the 1 millisecond response time, it doesn't have the backlight bleed because it's a TN. And also the price, you know, it came out in 2016, this monitor, so you're not really going to kind of buy it new, I don't think. You know, you can, you know, I saw it on Overclockers for 500 quid. I paid 275 for mine, and that was for like, I think about an 18-month-old unit. So it ranges from about 175 to 425 is when I looked at the sold listings on eBay in the UK. So I kind of got it in between. If you get it below 300 quid, I think this is a fantastic purchase, and you know, you'd be foolish to kind of turn it down, really, because I think it has a lot going for it. There are other monitors out there, don't be wrong. There's like the Alienware, their new version, which is again, I think it's a TN, or is it an IPS? I not 100% sure on that one. But there are other options out there. But this, yeah, just for me personally, I think it's fantastic. Now, oh, Wayne, why did you just sell it? Well, I sold it because I got an Alienware ultra wide, video coming soon. I haven't even unboxed it yet, to be honest. So it's kind of surplus to requirements. But did I love using it? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. You know, so if you're kind of looking whether to buy this monitor or not, you know, you found this video because you're looking around, you're looking at this monitor, maybe something else, you're comparing the two. I don't know, but I loved using it. I've owned one of these before and always regretted it. My favourite monitor of all time is the Asus XB271HU. That's a 1440, 165 Hz panel. And I always regret it when I sell that, because I've owned it a couple of times. But yeah, that's such a nice monitor. So if you're actually looking for one, yeah, I definitely recommend that. It's really, really nice. But yeah, this, like I said, it's got so much going for it. It's 1080p, so it's fairly easy to run. And you know, with low end hardware, and you can also, you know, use it with high end hardware and just kind of get the most out of it. But yeah, it's really, really nice. Go out and get one if you can get your hands on one. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a pleasure making it. I'm glad I made it in the end, because I think it's turned out quite well. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe as usual, and I'll see you in the next one, where I'm going to be looking at this. See ya.